As you know, the international student from Bangladesh was arrested yesterday in New York City and was charged with attempting to bomb the New York Federal Reserve Bank building. He was a student at Southeast for only one semester, and that was spring of 2012. This student submitted an application to Southeast in September of 2011, seeking admissions for spring of 12. And on his official application to Southeast, he indicated only that he had attended a secondary school in Bangladesh. He provided no information regarding any previous attendance at any college or university. As per our admissions guidelines and procedures, he was evaluated based on the results of national exam scores from the secondary school and as a result of the test of English as a foreign language, the TOEFL. His scores were well above the scores recommended for admissions from secondary schools in Bangladesh. The student was issued a letter of admission in October of 2011, and it is our understanding that he arrived in the United States on January 9th of 2012. The student met with advisors from the International Education and Services Office on January the 18th in 2012, and at that time he presented a transcript from North-South University, a private university in Bangladesh, and he requested credit for his transfer coursework. He was told that the transfer coursework should have been disclosed at the time of the application to our university, and that consequently his admission status would be changed to transfer probation based upon his academic record at North-South University in Bangladesh. The transcript he provided documents attendance at North-South University from spring of 2009 to fall of 2011. During his one semester at Southeast, the student was enrolled in 12 credit hours, all prereqs to a major in cybersecurity. So that means he did not take any of our upper division cybersecurity courses. He was never enrolled in any of those courses, as you can imagine in cybersecurity, because he had to meet certain requirements before he could take those courses. I have personally met with every faculty member from his classes, and it is my understanding that he did attend classes, but he did have frequent absences. During the summer, the student requested that his records be transferred to Brooklyn, New York, a Brooklyn, New York institute. We complied with his request, and as dictated by law, notified the Department of Homeland Security through the federal government's Student and Exchange Visitors Information System, SEVIS. The student did not enroll at Southeast for the summer or the fall of 2012. Consequently, the individual is not a student at Southeast. Personally, I met with the FBI this morning and have been assured that there is no reason to be concerned about safety issues on the Southeast campuses. The FBI has indicated that Southeast was never a target of terrorism and that the campus community can rest assured that all possible safety and security procedures have been and are continuing to be followed. While we're very dismayed and concerned that a former Southeast student would be involved in an alleged act of terrorism, we are reassured that the Homeland Security, the FBI, and the Joint Terrorism Task Force security and safety procedures put in place to safeguard our country are obviously working. More than 720,000 international students attend U.S. colleges and universities on an annual basis, and more than 15,000 in the state of Missouri, and more than 800 students come to Southeast Missouri State University. These students come to our country under the rules and regulations of federal government's Student and Exchange Visitors Program administered by the Homeland Security and are a great asset to the diversity and culture of our university. At Southeast, we embrace those 800 students because they bring a global perspective to our students, our campus, and our surrounding areas. I'll be meeting with our international students in a private meeting later today to assure them that they are welcome on our campus, and that we'll do everything in our power to make sure that the actions of one misguided student does not adversely affect the education and security of our international students and our more than 11,000 enrolled students. We're proud that Southeast continues to be recognized as the safest public four-year institution in Missouri by stateuniversity.com. Therefore, I would like to re-emphasize that the FBI has assured us that there is no reason to be concerned about safety issues on our campuses. Yeah, happy to answer any questions that you might have. Yes? Could you let us know who you are, and that'd be great. Thank you. Nice to have you here, Amy.
Can you clarify at all Mr. Nafis's failure to disclose his college education in Bangladesh, and you mentioned that changed his status to some type of probation. Does that set off any other triggers of investigation at that point?
No, because that happens periodically. It's not unusual. It's not a commonplace, but it's not unusual for students to come to the university and say, oh, by the way, here's a transcript. Whether they don't understand it or what, we're not sure. But that's when we evaluate the transcript, and as you may or may not know, international transcripts are really hard to evaluate to see what's comparable and to provide them with the correct credit. So that's done on an individual basis, and he may have thought that was a good thing to have that many credits, but obviously we didn't think that it was good enough. And if you knew the courses, if I could tell you the courses, they're all prereq freshman courses. So he obviously didn't do well at his university in Bangladesh, and it wasn't good enough for him to get out of some really preliminary courses before you can even get into upper class. Yes.
I'm Mackenzie from Newsday in Long Island. I guess first I wanted to know if you had personally met Mr. Nafis, and if you hadn't, how did colleagues, faculty, and anyone else you talked to describe him? Did they give you any descriptions about his demeanor? Did they say he was ever agitated in class or anything like that?
I have to tell you that I haven't met him. Well, I might have, because I welcome all students, and I also welcome, in particular, all of our international students in a picnic that we give. So, did I ever see him? Probably yes, but did I know him? No, I did not. The faculty members that we talked to stated that he would, in fact, miss some classes. But quite frankly, that doesn't necessarily mean that we would think that this would happen. We do have a few other students that miss classes from time to time, as you can imagine. But none of them said anything about him being agitated or having emotional kinds of issues. We did check to see if he had a conduct record, student conduct. That was not there.
Just a quick follow-up, did he ever seek a therapist or counselor here on campus?
I don't know that.
And when you say student conduct record,
We have a student code of conduct, and if there are violations, they need to go through the student code of conduct. And we keep track of that. Obviously, we can't disclose it to you what it is, but we did look, and he did not have a student conduct record. Yes?
Where in Brooklyn did he?
I can't tell you. Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Sorry. But it is in Brooklyn. Yes.
Hi, I'm Brittany Tedder with The Arrow. Did you say that Nafis was admitted to Southeast before he received his transcripts or after?
He was admitted before, otherwise he couldn't come to the United States.
Yeah, because on the website, on the university website, we saw that international students have to provide the university their transcripts.
That's correct. That is absolutely correct. No, before. He didn't put it on his application. He had good enough scores from his high school that he could have been working with his father in a business for 1 year. We have a lot of students that don't go to college right after high school, and when we looked at the scores and the TOEFL was good and his scores out of high school were good, then we admitted him. Then when he brought his transcript, which does happen from time to time, we evaluated that transcript and said, no, you're not a regularly admit. We're going to change your admission status.
Admission status.
The mission status.
So are academic requirements different
Well, they're a little bit higher for international students. Their requirements of their test scores have to be a little bit higher. And of course, they have to have a certain level of TOEFL, which is English comprehension and understanding and written skills.
Okay, one more thing is that he failed out of his previous university, North South University of So, did you
I don't believe that he failed. He had poor grades.
Poor grades?
Yes. Yes.
Tom Myers from Southeast Missouri. Did I understand you correctly that he basically, after you evaluated those transcripts, he was put on academic probation?
And I'm looking back to, it is an academic probation. The question was when he was put into that category, that's right, because we didn't think that, even though he had good test scores out of high school, when we saw the transcript, it wasn't like what we would like to have. So we allowed him to come in for one semester and see if he would be able to be successful.
If he had wanted to, I'm sorry, if he had wanted to, could he have stayed based on those grades? Could he have attended Southeast for another semester?
He had to satisfactorily pass courses at Southeast.
Can you clarify again when he showed you guys those records?
On January the 18th. He came in the United States on January the 9th.
And what were his grades for the end of the semester?
I can't tell you that. But he wasn't asked to come back to the university.
He wasn't asked.
That's correct.
What do you
He wasn't allowed.
He wasn't allowed.
Right. Yes.
Can you describe campus activity today? From what we understand, either the FBI or Customs Department may be going to talk to a bunch of folks. Were there agents swarming the campus either yesterday or today, or just to paint an accurate picture for me?
We didn't have all the St. Louis agents coming in. We've had FBI agents in the area. It's an ongoing investigation. I can't tell you how many, when, and how long, but I feel that they thoroughly investigated him and any of his acquaintances, I would imagine, to be able to tell us that the Southeast was not a target and that the campus is safe. And if you've worked with the FBI, they don't necessarily say things like that unless they really believe that that's the case. Yes?
Joseph Moore with the Era. You said that you're basically reading with the international students later. Are you concerned about any type of backlash towards students from other students, members, or faculty?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I hope that you here will help us. And that's why we sent a Dear Colleague letter to faculty, staff, and students. Because there are some real issues here. When you think about 720,000 international students studying in the United States, this could have happened at other universities. And one of the things that I'm concerned about, and I assume you would be too, that people don't stereotype international students into this person. This was an isolated instance that he went to New York and did some really foolish things. And we hope that doesn't have a backlash on our students. I think that that's one of the takeaways. I think the other takeaway, and I really, I was in the Air Force for 10 years, so maybe I'm a little more patriotic sometimes than what I should be. But when you think about the things that we have visibly in our life that talks about making sure that terrorism does not occur in the United States, like when you go to the airport and you go through a metal detector. That's fine and dandy, and we all know that it's there. But we also should feel comfortable, and especially in this case, this shows that there's this invisible net too. And that the safety of the United States is in the hands of those that do this on a daily basis. And I think that that's very, very important, and I'm very pleased that we have that invisible kind of net, and individuals like this are caught before they do harm to individuals and to buildings and to our nation.
And to follow up on that, do you believe that the student body
I think so. I'm hoping that they read the letter that we wrote today after I talked to the FBI, and I hope that they realize that it is an isolated event. And when they say that Southeast was not the target and that the environment is safe, I think that that's very important. It's one that gives me a lot of faith that we're in good shape, and obviously we have that net looking at those individuals that are really out there to do harm to people. Yes?
I just wanted clarification. You said he wasn't allowed to come back to the university. Was that purely because of academics? Or?
Yes. It was academics.
Is that a situation where he receives a letter saying Mr. Nafis, you were not welcome back, or how does that manifest?
Yeah, academically suspended.
He gets a letter.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Does Southeast do any kind of criminal background check on international students from their home countries of origin?
No. We expect that Homeland Security, if there are some issues, and also their country, will do an investigation. There are some countries that won't allow certain people to come to the United States to study, and we expect before they get the visa from their country, and it goes through a check here, not here, but in the United States at Homeland Security, that's already taken care of. You know, it would be very difficult for us to do that because many countries don't have the security checks that we're used to in the United States. And so I don't even know how you would even attempt to do that. Are there any other questions? Yes? Well, the article I read, and it's the same one you probably read, that his dad said that it was a business major or something of that nature, and obviously cybersecurity is not a business major. So I'm not sure why he changed what he changed and what made him change. But again, I want to go back that all of his courses were, typical freshman courses that were prereqs for anything that he would want to go into. There are a couple sciences, and that was part of it. Yes?
Will this incident result in at least the consideration of any change in university policy as it relates to admissions or campus policing?
Well, we go through a process like almost every other university. We may even go through a little more of a process. And I don't see that it'll change. I think that we'll probably be a little more observant, but I'm not sure that we would have been, if we would have seen him, and when we talked to the faculty, that we would even pick something up. That's part of the problem, I think, with terrorists, that you don't know about it until the cell opens up. So that's why that's why I said I'm really pleased that there is this net that's kind of invisible to us, maybe not all of us, but to most of us, that they look for things like that. What sites are they going to? What are they talking about? What's the chat like? So I think that that's a very important part. I think it's ironic that it was a cybersecurity, because that's what we're hoping to tell and show our students, how to safeguard systems and being able to hack into systems. Yes.
Do you know if he did any extracurricular events?
I do not know. I don't know that either. I'm sorry. But, yes.
Just to follow that, is that association part of the university?
There is a student. I believe there is a student organization, Muslim association. Yes, and we do have a mosque down about 2 or 3 blocks from the university. Any other questions?
Did his family have any connections with the university?
No. No. The only time I heard about his family is when I saw an article on the web from, I can't remember where it was. Dan, do you remember? San Diego? Okay. Yeah.
So the university didn't know personally if he had children or if he was married or anything like that?
I don't think he was married. That wasn't on the application, was it? No, he was, not that we know of.
Okay. Do you know if he had children? According to that application?
Don't know that either. Sorry.
Do you know
I don't know. You know, the international program, students are close, but I don't know how close these students are to each other. We do have over 40 Bangladesh students. And as you know, we have over 800 students here. Any other questions?
Total enrollment?
Our total enrollment is 11,729. Is that right? 26 or something. 11,700. Now I interviewed with one person today and said, well, it's too bad we're not talking about enrollment. If you want to talk about enrollment, this is the 18th year we've increased our enrollment in a row, and it's the 12th year that we have broken all record enrollment records. So if you want to, that's a positive thing, you know. We appreciate it very much. We have 3,000 students on campus, so it's a tight community. Anything else? Yes. Well, I'm meeting today, after I leave here, meeting with the resident advisors. With 3,000 students on campus, we want to make sure that all our students on campus understand that it is a safe community. They're going to be talking or emailing or texting their parents, and we think that's very important. We look to the media to get some of this information out, obviously, both the St. Louis, since 40% of our students come from St. Louis. The St. Louis media, that's why I was a couple minutes late. I was in an interview with someone from St. Louis that could not be here. After that, I'm going to be meeting with the execs of student government, and then after that tonight, I'm meeting with all the international students. I think it's important for them to know that we are thoroughly behind them. We embrace them. We really want to have that global influence at our campuses, because I can tell you that our students aren't going to be able to go. Most of our students are not able to go overseas. And our students are not competing against the students from Illinois or Tennessee. They're competing against students in India, Bangladesh, China. So we need our students to understand the global issues, and that's one way that we think we can do it.
Did he live on or off campus?
Off campus. He was 21, and he was off campus. We have a requirement. Freshmen and sophomores live on campus if they're unless they're within 50 miles, or 21, or a couple other things. Yes?
He was technically a freshman, right?
He was technically a freshman. Anything else? Yeah, I want to thank you all for being here, because this is really important to us. It's important to the citizens of our region and of the nation. But we appreciate it very much. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me or Ann. You're more than welcome to call either of us. And if we can give you information, we will. If it's FERPA, I'll say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. But we want you to be satisfied with what you have and the information you have as your report nationally and locally. Okay? Thank you so much.